This is Catholic Forum. I'm Stephanie Kelton. My guest today is Gary Belcott from Catholic Charities. Welcome, Gary.
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks.
It's very nice to have you here.
Pleasure to be
Today
here.
we're going to be talking about Casa San Francisco.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about your role there and your background and how you got interested in working in this field.
Okay. So I'm the program manager at Casa San Francisco, which is a homeless shelter for adults in Milton, Delaware. So I like to think that I've had an impulse to improve the lives of others, as many of us do. I've had a many decades-long career in human and social services and higher education, along with a graduate degree in counseling. So I think that a part of all of that has contributed to my fascination by the strength of the spirit that's in all of us to sort of transform, reinvent ourselves, renew, and I'm very much fascinated and intrigued by that process in the people that we serve.
And what services are provided through Casa San Francisco? Tell me a little bit about the operation and what the goal is.
Sure. So Casa San Francisco is a 12-bed shelter for adults experiencing homelessness. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. With a staff of just 7 people, we work very purposefully to make meaningful interventions into the lives of the people we serve. That means not only providing free, healthy meals and a clean place to live and sleep, but also connecting our residents with mental health and medical services, financial resources, and opportunities for permanent housing as best we are able.
And where is your location?
We're in Milton, Delaware, in Sussex County, eastern Sussex County, not far from the beaches.
Okay. And so you help a lot of homeless individuals ages 18 to 65 in Sussex County.
Right.
And you do that without regard to religion or background, so everyone is eligible for services through Catholic Charities.
Anybody and everybody, whoever's in that age group, adults, men and women. We have space for 12 people.
Okay.
Usually we have 6 men and 6 women there. Their a full range of people and backgrounds. I think that people are often think that the homeless population are the down and out and people who are unwilling to find employment. But in fact, 50% of people who are homeless have some sort of actual brain injury. Notwithstanding any other kind of medical issue or mental health issue, they have a brain injury that really prevents them from working, say, full-time and able to support themselves. So there is a lot of myths around people who are suffering from homelessness. Contributing to that is that there are not a lot of there's not a lot of permanent housing. There's not a lot of affordable housing.
Especially in this day and age.
Right.
There's a
There's
big
not a
lack
lot
of
of
affordable housing.
Yeah.
So you've seen the needs go up and the expenses have increased, and people's ability to afford stable housing is more at risk these days.
Yeah, it sure is.
And so through CASA, you also provide food to the clients and other individuals in the community.
Right. We have so food program works out of our building, but we also have an emergency food program that provides food emergency food to people who are suffering some kind of emergency. And again, that can be a full range of people. It's not just single moms with 2 kids. It can also be professional people. I remember recently we had somebody who was a traveling nurse, somebody who was up in the area working at one of the local hospitals. They're originally from Texas, and they came here. And because of COVID and some events that happened in this person's life, they were without food, and they really fell on some very difficult times. So, and we're happy to do whatever we can to help those people.
And so through the food community services that you offer, you've helped over 2,000 people annually, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. It's,
Distributing
Yeah.
tens of thousands of pounds of food every year.
Yeah. Yeah, we
It's
really.
very important, the
Yeah, it
ministry
is.
that you provide. How is CASA funded, and what is the cost, if any, to an individual who participates there?
So CASA is partially funded by grants from the state of Delaware, the United Way of Delaware, a few private grants, and some very much appreciated donations from friends of Casa San Francisco, as well as local parishes, and not just Catholic churches, but also local
Other Christian
non-Catholic,
churches.
other Christian churches.
And how does someone qualify for your services? How do you determine eligibility?
So you need to be homeless. Many of the people that we have come to us have been living in tents or in the
Wow.
woods. They come to us, and maybe they might be working with another agency, but the way that they actually get to us is that we work very closely with the Housing Alliance of Delaware, which acts as a sort of referral service for a number of homeless shelters throughout Delaware. Our residents would come to us first through their contacting the Housing Alliance of Delaware.
And so, what would you say to someone who's listening right now who is homeless? How would they get in touch with you to start the process?
The first thing that they should do is call the Housing Alliance of Delaware, and they would take down all of your information, their information, and they would put them in touch with us.
Okay. So, could you share a success story of an individual who has been helped by participating in your program at CASA?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because we have success stories every single day, not least of which is our being able to provide a warm bed and a safe environment, nutritious meals, and a staff that treats our residents with dignity and compassion, something that our residents sadly don't get enough of. Beyond that, there are numerous cases where significant impact has been made into the lives of many of our residents. We've been able to get about a half dozen or so into rehab facilities to treat their drug and alcohol use disorder. Many have moved on to permanent housing. Likewise, we've been able to assist individuals with getting Social Security benefits, mental health services, dental care, trips to the emergency room, and every other imaginable need that anybody, any of us, would have. And we help them set their foot on the right path into getting those services that they need. We'd like to think that in the 30 days or so that we have people with us, that we want to do as best we can to sort of make a surgical strike intervention into the life of that person. So if they need a psychiatric evaluation, we want to get them that. If they need a medical evaluation, we want to get them that. If they need Social Security benefits, we want to start them on the process of filling out the application to get that. So whatever it is that would seem to be the need that would be the most present need and that would make the biggest difference in, say, in that month or in the next couple of months into that person's life, we want to be able to do that, and we do. But it's difficult work, but it's worthwhile work, and we've had a lot of successes. I think that probably one of the biggest successes is just that when they're with us, we are, for many of them, this is the first time in maybe years that they've had a 30-day stretch of any kind of stability.
That's amazing, isn't it? To think
It
that
is.
so many people are dealing with that and living. I guess a lot of them are living, as you said, in tents, maybe in their cars, maybe going from shelter to shelter or living with family or friends.
Yeah, not so much family and friends. These are people who, through a number of different circumstances, probably have burnt some bridges with people. I say through no fault from their own, in as much as if they have a mental health issue that hasn't been treated and diagnosed, and family members are not up to speed with what that would look like or how to get that person help, unfortunately, they're not well received. And then, especially if they have a drug or alcohol misuse disorder, then they're naturally going to be burning some bridges. So as I said, one of the biggest successes is probably that we're able to provide this period of stability in a person's life so that they can just begin to think about what their next step is going to be, and we do whatever we can to provide them with the support to make that next step.
So at Casa San Francisco, you provide housing, you provide food, and a real sense of community. So I believe there are joint meals and opportunities for them to find employment or to get counseling or get help each day. So tell me a little bit about a daily schedule for one of the residents, and what's the sense of community that they might find from the team and from the other people who are there at the same time?
So we do have a sense of community there. Fortunately, we have a wonderful staff who help facilitate that sense of community. As I said, we're open 24/7, and so we have staff members, and it's the staff members and the case manager and myself and the supervisor who provide this kind of sense of stability, and that's mostly what our job is all about, is trying to create some sort of order out of the chaos that's in these people's lives. So we try and we do maintain a regular schedule of meals at certain times, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's some semblance of a rule of life, so to speak, for these people that they haven't had probably in years. So breakfast time is important, lunch time is important, dinner time is important, a curfew is important. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like hemming the day into all this kind of order. But the community itself is like a revolving door. So some people are there for, as I said, 30 days, and with some exception, there are people who are there for up to 3 months. In the meantime, new people are coming, other people are leaving. So the sense of community that is greatly attributed to the stability that staff are able to provide for people. We're not a treatment facility, so people are free within the hours between 6 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock at night, that they're free to come and go as they please. And we provide bus passes for them to get to job interviews, medical appointments.
That's so important.
Yeah, it really is.
And do you and your team follow up or have an opportunity to follow up with the participants when they leave your program?
So occasionally we do. We have people who will come back. So they may have gone to another homeless shelter. They may have gone out of state for a job opportunity that maybe didn't pan out, and they'll come back to us. So in that way, so anecdotally, and on occasion, we'll have people that will come back to us and that will follow up, and as a curiosity, we'll follow up with the agencies to see, well, how is so and so doing.
So, how has your work impacted you personally, Gary?
My goodness, that's a question.
Or what struck you about the homeless population to make you choose this line of work? I know you have a strong background in education and social services. How did you select this particular area to get involved in?
So what I would say that I've learned, I'll answer your first question. So I think, I have a greater appreciation for people, all people, that any of us through a whole series of events could end up homeless. I know that we might not really believe that or might not think that. Most of us have been fortunate to have mentors, family, people who have been there for us to help support us and pick us up. And through a whole series of events, these people don't. And I think that I have a greater appreciation, not just an intellectual one, of not viewing people as sort of us and them or we they, that we all are human beings and we're all trying to do the best that we can. And it's more of a matter of degree than kind. It's not like, oh, those homeless people, oh, those mentally ill people, oh, those people who don't want to get a job. And it's more of that could, but for the grace of God, that could be happening to me, or I could be in that situation. So I'm afraid I'm not really hitting the nail on the head here. I'm trying to struggle with it, but which is to say that we're all human beings, and we have some moral, ethical, spiritual responsibility to lift each other up. And
Yes.
I like to think that that's what we're doing. And
That's powerful. That's
Well-
powerful. Thank you for sharing all that. So you have
Well,
developed a real sense of empathy and compassion, and have been able to put yourself in their shoes and to say, this could be any one of us, and,
Well,
and we
I
can
hope
understand
so.
how anyone could get to that point.
yeah, and I hope so. And at the very least, maybe just soften our gaze when we see somebody who's panhandling or on the side of the road or pushing around their shopping cart full of all of their worldly possessions, and not look with them with judgment, but to soften our gaze, loosen our grip a little bit,
Yeah.
and have some compassion for them, because we're all in this together.
We're all in this together.
Yeah.
How can our listeners support Casa San Francisco, Gary? I know we certainly will accept donations by check made to Casa San Francisco,
Yeah.
mailed to the development office in Wilmington through the Diocese of Wilmington. We have an online giving pages
Yeah.
for Casa San Francisco. What else can you think of?
So what I want to say about that is that monetary donations of any amount, large or small, would help to support the work of CASA. It costs approximately $6,500, I figure, per month to fund a 30-day stay for each of the 85 or so individuals we help every year, to keep the lights on, to retain committed staff, and ensure the safety of everyone involved. That may sound expensive, and it is. However, it's nothing compared to the $40,000 or so that it costs for a 28-day stay in a rehab facility. Again, we're not a treatment facility, and I don't want to equate the work that we do. However, we are similar in that the work that we do is about the business of making sort of that surgical strike that I mentioned, making that important intervention into the life of the people that come into CASA. We know that we provide cost-effective service that needs the support of caring individuals as well as the wider community. And I hope that people will support us.
And they can support us by going to ccwilm.org and clicking on donate and designating Casa San Francisco as the program. That's another a way that we would accept donations.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners today, Gary? Anything we didn't cover, or anything else that you feel is important to bring up?
I just think at the risk of repeating myself, which my wife says I do very often. It's just really crucial for us to understand and appreciate the people who are homeless, and to do whatever we can, and not to pass judgment on them. Nobody wants to be homeless,
No.
or if they do, it's because of their sense of survival and their fear of and trauma that they've experienced.
Yes.
Yeah. But thanks very much for this opportunity to share with you.
Thank you so much
about
for joining
Casa San
us. Our
Francisco.
guest today has been Gary Belcott, Program Manager of Casa San Francisco in Milton, Delaware. And this program is available to support the homeless in Sussex County. Thank you so much, Gary.
Thanks for having me.